What's going on, everybody? It's Dave Drake with the Collective Experience, and we're back for another TCE interview. And this time I'm super excited because if you guys have ever seen the vlogs doing the track walk from the years previous, I'm sure you recognize this dude. It's the only Clint Lund, LundMX. What's up, buddy?
I'm living on cloud nine out here, bro. Just always dirt bikes every day. I just got done washing them. My jacket's actually soaked right now and it's a little cold, but it's all right, man. It's always dirt bikes here. I love it.
Oh, that's the dream, right? That's what we all love, is just dirt bikes. If you can be around dirt bikes 24/7, that's it. That's what you need. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the dream right there. So yeah, if you guys are not familiar, for the one person out there who doesn't know who this guy is, this is I met Clint a couple years ago. Clint's been a factory wrench for a little while. He also has one of my favorite, we were just talking about it before we hit record, one of my favorite channels to watch, because this dude literally takes piece of junk bikes and makes them into absolute jewelry. These are the nicest bikes. No, dude, you succeed. You meet expectations.
Okay. I'll take it.
Dude, they look so freaking good, and it makes me want to go out and buy a bike immediately, like a piece of junk beater, and then just start ripping through it and doing all this cool stuff. It's super awesome to watch, and I highly suggest that you guys do. And we have an incentive for you to go watch his stuff towards the end of this. But Clint, for the few people out there who may not know who you are right off the bat, like, give us a quick rundown on yourself.
Okay, well, the long and the short of it is I started just wrenching out of pure necessity right out of high school, just because I could only afford junk bikes, and had to figure out the hard way how to fix it all myself. So that included, ordering manuals, and in that time, the internet wasn't really a place for ordering manuals. I don't mean that, back in my day type guy, but I had to go down to a local dealership, order a manual, and I would just figure it out, everything from rebuilding engines just out of pure necessity. That translated into just our local tracks. After I got to a point where I thought I was good, in hindsight, being the devil that it is, looking back, probably shouldn't have been spinning wrenches on other people's bikes, but it worked out, and probably need more training, but it got me more training doing that. And then that it kept evolving, and then started going to Adam and Tyler Anticknap's house and doing their ride days out at their house, and that changed to them always having broken bikes, because they're big dudes and they're really, really hard on their equipment. And it was actually a really good experience, because a lot of the guys watching this right now, they won't have that same opportunity that I had. But I tell you what, if you guys can just get to not even a professional ranked rider, but maybe an expert, maybe someone who's really fast B-class rider, and just offer hey, let me come out to the track for you on practice days. Let me spin wrenches, check tire pressure, chain slack. It all adds up, and it adds up real quick. And then before you know it, they're blowing bottom and top ends, and then you're splitting cases. And you don't want to send any good rider out on the track with a questionable engine. So for me, I put a really high attention to detail into every little nut and bolt. And I really kind of just punished myself to be very strict about the quality that I was putting back inside the bike. And before you know it, they offered Tyler Anticknap offered me to come out with him on the road. This was back with TPJ back in 2015. I went with Tyler I did half a season with him or something like that. And worked out okay. He had a hard year, crashed out, so it ended early for us. But yeah, every year then, went out with Tyler for 16, Tyler for 17. And then I think 18 was a little bit of a hiatus, 19. And then, started wrenching for Adam. And that was, I knew Adam and Tyler equally. And then Addy put in a good word with the guys at HEP, Factory Suzuki, and they gave me a chance, and I can't thank Dustin enough for doing that, because that was a great experience. It was the year of the COVID. That thing hit, and that sucked. We got stopped in Indianapolis at our Airbnb, and they said, races are done. We're sending you back home. And, so it was cool, though, that the whole Salt Lake thing ended up working out. That was definitely a high point of that year. Not that there was many high points you could take from that year, but that was a high point for me personally. And just I learned a lot. even being like, I think a lot of guys that on the outside looking in, a lot of these mechanics out there, it's not as easy as it looks. And I gained a whole new respect. I mean, so with Tyler, like in 2019, I was with him and BWR, Brian White, White, he does the BWR Honda, and Carlin's on it now.
Yep. Solid team.
But I was on there with Tyler, and I got to get a really good first look at how Brian was very strict about, I mean, everything. And so he was a good influence. And then going to HEP was being with the top mechanics in the world, and Clark Jones, the head mechanic for the team, he definitely was able to teach me a lot too. So I mean, it just worked out, and I'm super thankful. I'm bummed I couldn't do it this year, but I just have so many irons in the fire this year.
No, I hear you, man. And that's super cool to like the kind of like the path you took of like literally like making those like baby steps to get to that point. And like what I love about it, which is a common theme with the collective, if people, you know, if you followed along for a while, it's making the connections and really making yourself open and out there that
100%.
led you to this, you know, not really like having your head in the sand and doing like, you know, well, I'm just going to focus on myself. And no, dude, you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, go meet people, let your personality show, and like, and make it happen, which that is like the number one thing that I always try to tell people. It's, you gotta meet people. You gotta be friendly. You gotta be outgoing.
And that's where, you know, again, the antic naps came in big for me, because like Tyler was never the guy that's like, dude, you're my mechanic, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He was like, bro, I want to see you wrench it from Mitch Payton. Yeah. And I was like, okay. He goes, I'm going to introduce you to everyone you want to know. Like, who do you want to know? Like, I want to get you there. So if there's any, like, one big tip I give to any of your viewers or my viewers that are coming over watching this, but like Dave Drake said, like, go shake hands, make a resume, even if it's not like a very polished or a very deep resume with lots of experience, pass them out. Go to the TPJ tent, to Ted Park's tent. There's a lot of privateers under that tent. Yes. Offer the riders just be like, hey, let me wrench for you for a year. You don't have to pay me. I just want to learn. And I mean, if that's a path you want, that's one of the better ways to do it.
Oh, most definitely. So one thing that like people always tell me is like, oh, you know, it's so different at this level. What's one of the biggest things that like that you noticed or that you saw or learned when you went from wrenching more at like the local level to wrenching on, you know, on TV pretty much at a Supercross race? What were the biggest things that you kind of
the biggest thing for me was no more cutting corners. So like with say a privateer, I had a local vet pro that I was working for. I had just helped Tyler Custer, another local guy, get through arena cross, and we just got him into the pro ranks. We got him his license through doing the arena cross thing. And then, I mean, it hit me real quick when you turn over to the big show, like, if the chain's loose or if it's questionably loose, like if you think like maybe, can it use an adjustment? Like, just don't even question these guys are hucking 75-foot triples, third gear, fourth gear pinned. They're going through whoop sections, fourth gear pinned, third gear pinned. And one little thing could cost them their career, not just a bruise on the elbow. I mean, it could cost them their career. So it's all of a sudden this thing where being able to pick and choose like what I think is what it needs, that went away and just went strictly to everything has to be done. Spokes, chain. I mean, that I'm just to name a couple. There's the entire bike, right? Yeah. But just don't cut any corners, man.
Oh, that's definitely not. Those guys, I don't think people realize just how gnarly, because they I mean, everyone knows Eli's sick, Webb's sick, you know, Mookie's, all those guys, but even the guy who's last place and 250C practice, badass, dude. Yeah, and I don't think people realize that, man.
And what's funny about that is my kids, I had to almost retrain my kids. You know, I got 2 boys and they always watch Supercross with me, and I'm not going to say any names because there's no point, but it'll be like one of the guys in the back in qualifying group C, and everyone else is running like the top qualifiers I'll take this weekend is all in the 51s. And he qualifies at 57, you know, and on his fast lap. I'm like, you kids don't understand. 7 seconds. Okay. Count to 7. That's how far they were behind the leader. And that's in C class, you know, that's not far away. But these guys, that's how close the whole qualifying. There's no dude on that track sucks. They just need more training, more experience, better setups.
Exactly. And I was helping wrench for Pulley this past weekend. His guy, he couldn't make it last minute. He was like, Dave, you're here at the races. I need someone just to hold my bike pretty much. And I was like, all right, buddy, I got you.
I need to say something about David, because David doesn't know me, but I know him just because he's one of the more animated guys down there. That's a privateer. Like, I remember he would come out with headphones on, his hair dyed all crazy colors, and running a completely stock bike. Like maybe suspension, maybe, or maybe clickers turned all the way in. That guy would send it, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, that's a professional when you can take a completely stock bike and still put it in the time trials and make a decent time.
Exactly. That's why it's one of the reasons why I like working with him. And he pretty much is like, hey dude, I just need someone just to help me do whatever. I was like, no problem. I'm doing the vlog stuff, so I've got some downtime. And I was watching him ride, and he's doing his thing or whatever. And I always thought to myself, I'm like, oh man, I wish Dave would push it here just a little bit more. Like, hey, you know what? I think I could probably rail that corner like that. Until I remember I haven't been on the floor of Supercross for a little while. And I'm watching back the helmet cam, and then I go out there on the floor with him. And I'm like, oh wow, no, I definitely could not really corner like that. Like these, and though even though Dave didn't make the night program, it's still like I'm watching. I'm like, dude, honestly, like, what more can you do on this bike? I couldn't
literally, like, that's where the factory teams have an advantage. They have cameras on the track everywhere. They have guys doing data acquisition for them. They can go back to a video. They can look at the top qualifier and say he's shaving a second in this turn. He's shaving 2 seconds in this whoop section. Doing a triple in instead of a quad, or a quad instead of a triple. Like, either way, and that's where they're really able. Where the guys like Greco, Poli, they come to mind first, but I mean, there's lots of guys in the back. John Cross, Bubba Pauly. I spent some time at his house, and I know that guy grinds like hell to make it out there. So, and those guys, I mean, they rip. It's just they need that little bit more.
Oh no, definitely, man. It was just so like eye-opening to be able to see, like, holy crap, man, like every single guy out there is a gnarly badass dude. So I definitely if anyone gets a chance to really, like, just go to your local Supercross or like your local track and just watch the local experts and watch how fast they go. That it's very, you'll get some respect. 100%
for sure. Get some respect for sure.
So another thing, Lund, you ended up, like you said, wrenching for the bigger name to the sport and working for these really cool teams. Take us through what made you want to start the YouTube channel, because I'm pretty pumped to talk about that. And like I said, I'm a fan. I know we're buds. I try to be unbiased, but I just like watching your stuff, dude. And taking a roached out bike and making it like immaculate, that's so cool to me. How did you start doing that, man? And when did it start taking off for you?
The channel started by pure coincidence. So at the time, I used YouTube to send my foreign loved ones that lived cross state lines, send them videos of my kids, and doing, like, the dirt biking was one of the things, especially. And I didn't know the whole privatizing a video, unlisted versus public. I didn't care. So like, I did one where my son I got him a new KX65, and he had just turned 9 or something like that. I got him a new KX65, and I put it on YouTube. I sent it to our family, and they watched it. And then it was like not a year later or something like that, I got an email from YouTube saying monetize now. And I'm like, what is stupid. Like, so I passed it off. And then it was like another year later again, and it was like, you have money waiting, or I can't remember what the email said, but it's like basically it said you have money waiting. I was like, what? So I went through the process and then looked. The video had 4.3 million views.
What?
4.3 million views of my kid getting a KX65.
Crap.
And so, like, I had $1,500 in there, and I was like, I set up all the bank account stuff. And so then I was like, wow, is there something to this? And is there really, like, some money you can make here? And it's really funny, though. There's a big difference between entertainment and then educational on YouTube. I mean, all of us that watch it, we're familiar with the ones that are entertainment versus educational. And so in the beginning, I was like, let's share some of the knowledge that I have, whether it was still rookie knowledge or not, like let's show how to rebuild forks, let's rebuild a bottom end, let's rebuild a top end, let's and do it on multiple different bikes, because I was always buying different projects to flip them for profit or even just to ride. And then also I was getting into buddies' bikes I had to do repairs on for them, and then I was like, you know what, let's try to make double the money on this and put it up on YouTube too. And yeah, it kind of kept rolling in, and I was really surprised that it was what I thought at the time was taking off. But I had no idea until now. But yeah, man, it opened up this whole new world for me where it's really not so much about the income. It's about networking, putting yourself out there. And one thing that I've kind of had to grow a little bit of tough skin to is just, there's going to be critics in every genre that you do it. I don't care if it's car repair or bikes or whatever. There's going to be critics, and typically the critics think they know more than you, and sometimes they do. And but just you got to be able to take the creative criticism, learn from it, apply it, and then and work up from there. But so yeah, it kind of happened by accident, man. It was really bizarre, and I never have been a guy to be behind camera. I don't like it. Like in the past, I was kind of, if anything, like, hey, let me get a picture of you. I'm like, nah, I'm good. And obviously that had to change with my line of work. So yeah, completely by accident. I don't regret any of it.
Oh, definitely not, man. And the cool thing that I think you're doing is like, you're actually building a community of people who like share your videos, and you're like, oh man, I can't figure out how to change a top end of my YZ. And like, oh wait, like Clint has a video of that, or like, I can help my buddy out and be like, oh, I don't know, but who does? Check out this dude, LundMX. He walks you through a bunch of cool stuff. So I think for me, it's entertaining, but also I think you do a great job of marrying the entertainment with the knowledge that a lot of people can use. And you don't speak like super technical to where like, we're thinking you're speaking astrophysics. You're like layman terms. This is what happened. I do things this way because, and boom, there it is. Here's a quick, simple way to do it. And I personally, I learn a lot from your videos when I watch them. I think they're super interesting, and I'm stoked to see them every time they come out.
Well, let me put this out there too, to like your viewers, my viewers. I'm trying to not come at you from a professional thing where I'm so much better than you. Like I really, in all the videos, I try to relate, like this is stuff you can do at home. If you follow just these simple guidelines, you can absolutely do this at home. I know there are tens of thousands, if not way more than that, of better mechanics than myself in the industry that just don't even get the appreciation that I do. And I'm honored that I get the appreciation that I do get, but I'm still learning. Daily, I'm still learning.
No, and again, I echo that too. And I think the fact that you approach it so humbly, like that's what also I think attracts people to your channel, because you're not a guy that's like, oh, this is the only way to do it. You're like, no, like try it this way. This is the way I've been doing it. And you're super cool about that stuff, which again makes it more enjoyable to watch. I want to hear from you what you think, in your opinion, is like the best, like I want to say rags to riches project that you've done, like because you've had some pretty roached out ones that came out really good, but which one was your favorite?
My worst bike on Craigslist, YZ325.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that thing, that's the most rags to riches, because that bike was if the viewers want to go back, if they're not familiar with it, when I got it, the bike was rusted shut, just as much as it could be. Everything from, you couldn't even hammer out the swing arm pivot bolt. You couldn't hammer out the linkage bolt. You couldn't hammer out the cylinder was like literally welded to the piston because of how much corrosion there was. Splitting the cases was near impossible. It was bending my tool to split it because of all the rust and corrosion. And there was times where I was like, but maybe that's why it's a 14-part series, is because it took so long to do anything on that damn thing. But once I had it down to the bare frame, I sent the frame into powder coat. It came back. It was like this blank slate. Like, okay, now I just need to get all the other parts down to a blank slate, refinish all that can be refinished, and replace everything that could be replaced. And then that's when the whole thing of sponsors jumped on. Like I didn't ever see that coming. And then I'm getting emails from Eddie Sanders Racing and Polysport and Dunlop and Wrench Rabbit, all these companies. Well, Wrench Rabbit's been on for quite some time actually, but just all of a sudden, like all these sponsors, like they wanted to be a part of it. And I was so humbled. I'm like, really? Okay, let's go. So, that thing is completely a brand new bike, top to bottom, no corners cut, and it's newest YZ 250 from 2001 you'll ever find, and it's probably the best 2001 you'll find, for what I built it for. But that one's the most rags to riches as far as that topic goes.
No, dude, that was probably one of my favorite ones. I think if I remember correctly, that's the one where the plastics were so bad you can literally like knock your finger on it and they just fall through.
Yep.
Like that one, dude, that was bad. That was definitely
dry rotted. It was bad.
Oh, that's gnarly. So I know you have a lot of people who are aspiring mechanics who want to walk in the same footsteps as yourself, and wrench at the highest level of the sport. What advice would you give to somebody who maybe they haven't had a huge background in spinning wrenches? They want to get started, they want to follow in what you did and start at their in their garages tinkering. What advice would you give them to kick off and get going?
Never stop learning. I even in the early days, there was nothing wrong with my bike, but I tore it down. I pulled the motor out, and I would get bored and split the cases. I was like, I want to see how the transmission's doing. I wanted to make sure they're not splintering. I want to make sure they're not cavitating. Like I want to make sure so I'm splitting cases, and then Yama bond the cases back together, and then I put it back in, and the bike runs no different whatsoever. But still, it's like that peace of mind. So like if you want to get to a professional rank, you have to treat your own things like it's a professional bike. You look at any one of my bikes, I let that carry over. None of my bikes are treated like junk. When I wash it, I frame it, I break it down, and I go all the way through the bike and make sure it's ready to ride for the next weekend, and really try to set that standard already in you. That the cleaning is the biggest thing. Get big into cleaning, because factory bikes, when they hit the floor, you can't find a speck of dirt on them because there isn't any. That's how good the mechanics are. Fine tooth comb. So start there.
Okay. This guy's advice. This is sage advice for all you guys out there. You're hearing it from Clint himself. Moving forward, what can we expect from you in the future, man? Like, do you have cool things popping up for the channel? You have cool products you want to get into? What can we expect, from Clint Lund in the near future?
So I'm really big into kind of making my own things now. And what I mean by that is making bikes that didn't exist before. And so like we just finished a Yamasaki build, put a KX 500 engine inside of an old Yamaha YZ 450 aluminum frame. And that bike's stellar. I did a recent video on that where we took it out and rode it. And that bike's amazing. It vibrates like crazy, but it's a blast because it humbles you. And so I'm into like that kind of just making things that don't exist. And I'm going to still be doing like back behind that bike is another frame. It's from a 2005 KX 250. I want to build a true factory bike using factory parts, using factory methods to make parts and assembling it. And then I have a 91 KX 500 behind you. That one I want to do a complete OG build. I don't want to throw all the new stuff on and make it something it's not. And then I have another bike I'm going to be doing another conversion into soon. I just dropped a video on that where I tried to buy a bike off Craigslist and take it out into the actual track and rebuild the bike there and ride it at the track. But the piston was shattered, and then my hopes were also shattered. So it just didn't work out. But one of these days I'll find a good enough candidate to do that too. I don't care if I have to bring a piston kit with me and rebuild it out there and then ride it in the same video, but just fun stuff, kind of, including the fun mechanical side, and then also the fun of, oh my God, I can't believe I'm riding this turd right now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to those videos. I'm definitely going to watch those. And for all of you guys watching this, Clint and I want to do something really cool for you guys and give back. We want to start doing some really cool giveaways for you guys. And we're going to start giving back first through fifth place. We're going to pick 5 winners. Instead of the played out 3, we want to help as many people as possible. And we've got some really cool prizes. We're gonna be doing some Supercross or Motocross tickets, prize pack with swag, custom graphics, lubricant, stickers, watch. We've got a lot of cool things popping up. We're going to put that in the description. And the way to get into it is once you use the wonderful Clint LundMX's link, when you go order your parts, your pieces, no matter how much you spend through Rocky Mountain, you do get entered. But you also have to subscribe to LundMX as well as the Collective Experience. And we're gonna pick some people in a couple weeks here, and really try to get you going before the season kicks off. At least for me here in Wisconsin, the season's it's upon us. We still got another couple of weeks of thawing now, but that makes me really excited. But yeah, we want to be able to give back to the great subscribers and make sure that we do our part for you guys. And as always, guys, please make sure that you keep tuned in to my guest here, LundMX. Keep checking in with the Collective Experience. We've got some cool videos coming behind the scenes. And if you haven't seen our past archive ones, go back and watch them. Clint Lund is all over those things, man. And it's they're really fun to make. We've got some cool stuff coming. Clint, thank you so much, man, for taking the time. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the other builds. After this, I'm probably gonna go watch some of your old stuff because I like watching it so much.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, as always, leave us some comments, let us know what you think about the videos, and we're going to keep them coming for you. Again, try to enter that contest, and we look forward to having a lot of people win this stuff. Clint, it's been fun, man. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah, thanks, man.